Hello friends! Start by cracking 2 eggs into a bowl. Beat them well with a whisk until they're light and frothy. I always remember how my mother used to say, eggs are the glue that holds everything together. And she was right. They add richness and help everything mix just right. Now, add 1 pound or 450 grams of ground beef. Pour the whisked eggs right into the meat. Grate 3 cloves of garlic on a mini grater. As soon as you start, that wonderful smell fills the kitchen. It always reminds me of those comforting family dinners. And it's not just about aroma. Garlic has been used for generations to support the immune system and keep the heart healthy. Add them to the beef. Next, grate 1 onion. While I'm grating it, please tell me where you're watching from. Which country, state, or city? I love seeing photos of your cities. And I really enjoy how you connect and talk to each other in the comments. Add the onion to the meat. Finely chop a bunch of parsley. I always love adding it, not just for the flavor, but for that fresh, bright green that instantly lifts any dish. It's such a simple herb, but it's full of goodness. Vitamin C, vitamin K, and just a handful can make your food look and taste more alive. Add it to the bowl. In a frying pan, heat some olive oil. Friends, it's wonderful to know where you're watching from. Share your city and country, and US friends, tell me your state as well. Then chop 1 onion. I always enjoy cooking with onions. They bring so much depth and a gentle sweetness when sautéed just right. And they're not just tasty. Onions are packed with nutrients that do your body good. They support your immune system, are kind to your heart, and have been used for their healing properties for generations. Take your time with the chopping. The more even the pieces, the better they'll cook and melt into your dish. Feel free to ask any questions about the recipe in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I see them. Fry it until it becomes soft and golden. While it's cooking, chop 2 cloves of garlic. Garlic always reminds me of the meals we used to make as a family. Just the smell takes me right back to those busy, happy kitchens. I remember watching my mother chop it so quickly and finely, like it was second nature. Chop it nice and fine now too. It melts right into the dish and brings that deep, familiar flavor that feels like home. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking it. It's a simple way to show your support. Add them to the pan. Next, grate 1 carrot. I've always loved how carrots brighten up a dish with their warm, cheerful color. When I was little, grating carrots was one of the first kitchen tasks I was trusted with. I can still remember the sound of the grater on a quiet afternoon. Add them in. They bring both goodness and memories to the table. Friends, for more content like this, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss any new recipes. Then, finely chop half a cabbage. I always think of my grandmother standing at the kitchen table, patiently slicing cabbage for her hearty stews. that soft rustling sound still makes me smile. Once it hits the pan, the smell is instantly familiar and comforting. Cabbage is gentle on the stomach, full of fiber, and becomes so tender as it cooks. Add it to the pan and let it slowly soften until golden and full of flavor. Meanwhile, cut 5 to 6 potatoes into medium-sized pieces. Potatoes always bring back memories of family dinners, especially when we'd gather in the kitchen to make mashed potatoes. I still remember my grandmother peeling them with such ease, and how we kids waited excitedly for our turn to help with the mashing. Simple moments like that always felt so special. Try to cut the potatoes into even pieces so they cook at the same pace. Place them in a pot. Cover with water. And add 1 tablespoon of salt. Let them simmer gently until they're soft and easy to pierce with a knife. Once the vegetables are soft and golden, it's time to season. Sprinkle in 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Give everything a good stir. This is when all the aromas really come to life. Then take the pan off the heat. Gently fold these warm, flavorful vegetables into the ground beef mixture. Now add 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Mix everything thoroughly, taking your time. You'll feel when it's right. The mixture becomes smooth, even, and easy to shape. Now it's time to shape the meatballs. You're aiming for about 6 large ones, so use around 2 to 3 tablespoons of the mixture for each. Gently roll them between your hands into even balls. I always find this step calming. There's something about working with your hands that brings back the comfort of home kitchens and recipes passed down with love. Every now and then, I get feedback that my videos are a bit long. But the reason I provide detailed instructions is for those who are just starting and may feel a little unsure in the kitchen. Check the potatoes by piercing one with a knife. If it goes through without any resistance, you can take them off the heat. Drain the water and transfer the potatoes to a bowl. Give them a good mash. Add 1/4 of a stick, or about 30 grams, of butter and mash again until everything is smooth and creamy. There's something so soothing about mashed potatoes, warm, familiar, and always welcome at the table. Now, gently roll the mashed potatoes into small balls. Now, take a piece of plastic wrap and place one of the meatballs right in the center. Gently press it down with your hand to flatten it. Not too thin, just enough to hold the filling. Place a mashed potato ball in the middle, then carefully bring the edges of the meat up and around, using the plastic wrap to help shape and seal it. Once it's fully closed, peel off the wrap, and there you have it. A lovely meatball with a soft potato center tucked inside. Place the finished meatballs into a baking dish. You'll likely fit about 4 in one dish, and the rest can go into another, just like I do. Now, in a small bowl, mix 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of mustard, 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds. Stir everything well to combine. This sauce brings a rich, slightly tangy flavor that ties everything together beautifully. It's like the finishing touch that makes each bite feel complete. Pour the sauce over the meatballs, making sure it covers them evenly. Use a brush to spread it out. Place the meatballs in the oven at 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. In a bowl, add the salad leaves. Chop 1 avocado. Add it to the bowl with salad leaves. Avocados are so good for the heart and full of healthy fats. Chop 1 tomato. transfer to the bowl. Now chop some parsley. Add it in as well. And finally chop 1 red onion. Add it to the bowl. For the dressing, mix 3 tablespoons of olive oil. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. 1 teaspoon of mustard. 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds. 1 teaspoon of salt. And half a teaspoon of black pepper. Stir it well. Pour it over the salad. Mix all the ingredients thoroughly. This salad is the perfect contrast to the hearty meatballs. Light, crisp, and refreshingly fresh with every bite. Grate 4 ounces or 120 grams of cheddar cheese. Once the meatballs are done baking, take them out of the oven and sprinkle the cheese on top. Let them bake for another 10 minutes, just until the cheese melts into a golden, bubbly layer. It's that warm, gooey topping that brings everything together so perfectly. Serve the meatballs on a plate with the fresh salad alongside. You've created a truly comforting meal. Juicy meat, creamy mashed potatoes, and a crisp, colorful salad to balance it all out. It's simple, nourishing, and made with care. I hope it brings as much warmth to your table as it always has to mine. Thank you for cooking with me today, but don't go just yet. There's another cozy and tasty recipe I'd love to share with you. Take a pork neck. As you slice it into medallions, take your time. A sharp knife and calm hands make all the difference here. Try to keep the slices about the same thickness so they cook evenly. I always find this part of the process a little soothing. Just you, the board, and the rhythm of the knife. Once all the medallions are sliced, place them in a bowl. Add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, drizzle with a bit of olive oil, stir everything by hand. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap. Place it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Pour some olive oil into a frying pan. Let it heat up gently. Not too fast, we want a nice even sizzle. Place the medallions in the pan. You should hear that soft sizzle right away. That's the sound of a good sear. Fry them on both sides for about 5 minutes each, until they're golden and caramelized. Then remove the pork from the pan and set it aside to rest. This helps keep it juicy. Now, chop 1 onion. There's something special about this step. It doesn't ask for speed, only attention. The more evenly you chop, the more gently the onion will soften and melt into the sauce. I always remember standing beside my grandmother as she chopped onions. She never rushed, always worked with quiet focus. That steady rhythm of the knife, the scent of onion rising, it felt like the beginning of something good. Once chopped, put the onion into the same pan. All those rich flavors left from the pork will blend right in. Fry the onion gently until it softens and starts to turn golden. While the onion is cooking, finely chop 4 garlic cloves. I always find something comforting about chopping garlic. The smell alone warms the kitchen and brings back so many familiar moments. Garlic isn't just for taste. It's been cherished for generations, not only for its aroma, but for its natural health benefits too. It's known to support the immune system and bring balance to rich dishes like this. Add the garlic to the pan with the onions and give everything a gentle stir. This is where the aroma really comes alive. Fry together for 3 minutes. Add 1 tablespoon of flour. Stir well. Pour in 5 fluid ounces or 150 milliliters of white wine. Stir it well. Add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Pour in 1 cup of broth. Stir everything together slowly, letting the sauce come together into something smooth and fragrant. You'll see it thicken just enough to coat the back of a spoon, rich, cozy, and full of depth. Dice 1 round of brie or camembert cheese. Both melt beautifully and add a rich, creamy texture to the sauce. As it warms, the cheese will gently melt into the wine and broth, giving the dish a velvety finish and a delicate, nutty flavor. Add it to the pan and stir slowly, letting it blend in smoothly. This little step turns a simple sauce into something truly comforting and indulgent. Add 1 tablespoon of Philadelphia cheese. Stir again. Then put the pork back in the pan. Cover with a lid. Braise for about 30 to 40 minutes. Next, slice 1 cucumber. I always find the sound of slicing cucumbers so fresh and crisp, like the start of a good salad. It's such a simple step, but there's something so satisfying about it. Cucumbers add coolness and crunch, and they're wonderfully hydrating, perfect for a light and refreshing dish. Try to keep the slices even so the texture feels just right in every bite. Put the cucumber in a large bowl. Cut up 5 to 6 cherry tomatoes. I always think of summer gardens when I slice into ripe tomatoes. The scent, the color, the feel of them in your hands. They add not only flavor, but a lovely juiciness that ties the salad together. Add them to the bowl. Chop some arugula. It adds a peppery bite that pairs so well with creamy cheese or rich dressings. Transfer it to the bowl. Chop 1 red onion. Red onions add a gentle sharpness and a pop of color, just what a fresh salad needs. Their beautiful purple hue always reminds me of family picnics in late summer, when fresh vegetables were the star of the table. They're milder than yellow onions, which makes them perfect for salads, crisp, slightly sweet, and full of flavor. Add it to the bowl. Chop a bunch of parsley. It's one of those little touches that make everything taste fresher and look more vibrant. I always think of it as the finishing note that ties a dish together. With its clean, slightly peppery flavor and all that vitamin C packed into those tiny leaves, parsley doesn't just decorate the plate, it lifts the whole dish, giving every bite a burst of brightness. Add it in. Lastly, finely chop 1 garlic clove. Even just a little brings a lovely depth of flavor, that little note that lingers and ties everything together. Add it to the bowl and you're almost there. Next, add 3 tablespoons of sour cream, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of salt, black pepper. Mix everything well. As you mix, you'll notice how the juices from the tomatoes and the freshness of the herbs start to coat everything. That's when you know it's going to taste just right. Now, slice 5 medium potatoes. Try to keep the slices even so they cook at the same rate. Potatoes are such a comforting ingredient, aren't they? They're naturally rich in potassium and vitamin C, and when prepared simply like this, they let their gentle, earthy flavor shine. It's amazing how such a humble vegetable can bring so much nourishment and warmth to the table. Place them in a bowl. Add 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of salt. Drizzle with olive oil. Then grate 2 ounces or 60 grams of Parmesan cheese. Its nutty, savory flavor adds the perfect finishing touch. I love how it melts just slightly when added to warm dishes, creating those little bursts of richness in every bite. Add half of the cheese to the potatoes. Mix well. Parmesan also has a wonderful way of bringing all the other flavors together. It's like the final thread that ties the whole dish. Transfer the potatoes to a baking dish. Bake at 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. Open the pan with the meat. Turn the medallions over. They should be beautifully golden and tender by now. Sprinkle with the remaining Parmesan cheese. Lightly stir, just enough to let the cheese settle in. Cover the pan again. Meanwhile, finely chop a sprig of thyme. The smell of fresh thyme always reminds me of Sunday lunches, warm, fragrant, and full of comfort. Sprinkle it over the meat. Cover with a lid once more. After a couple of minutes, take the meat out. Place it on a plate carefully. You can already smell how rich and savory the dish has become. Tender pork, melted cheese, and that little herbal touch on top. A dish like this always brings people to the table before you even call them. Now, take the potatoes out of the oven. They should be beautifully golden and crisp on the edges. Transfer them gently to the plate alongside the pork medallions. Add a generous scoop of the fresh salad. And there you have it, tender, slow-braised pork medallions in a creamy, cheesy sauce, golden roasted potatoes with a crispy edge and soft center, and a bright, tangy salad that brings it all into balance. It's a meal that's full of comfort and heart, the kind you'd serve on a Sunday or any day you want to gather the family around the table. I hope this recipe brings the same warmth, joy, and togetherness to your kitchen, as it always has to mine. Thank you for cooking with me today. Until next time, happy cooking.